The reason that we actually started all of this was because I've been to various other networkings, and somewhere the ethic of it wasn't quite how I saw business. And in particular, I found that one that I went to, not to say that they've got it wrong, because I haven't been clearly successful, but I've been in business for 38 years now, and to be able to give 2 referrals every single week to somebody is almost impossible if you want to actually act with any kind of integrity. How can you do that? Well, I'm going to recommend Brian. How do I know if I don't know? If I've met him a couple of times, how can I do that? And if you think you've got to do that, 38 years, is that long enough to know enough people in business that you could refer 2 new people every week? It's very difficult. And I found that the pressure that that put on people made it very difficult for them to keep going. So part of the ABC and the ethic of this place is it's friendly. It's a bit of fun. Come and have a nice breakfast. But it's about building relationships, long-term relationships, which most people don't do. I mean, we've had a few people that have come to the ABC that have come once and not come again. It's because they've come along, they give you their business card, there you go, that's me, and then they expect you to refer to them. Who can do that? Who can actually refer a restaurant that you've never been to? What is that actually going to say about you if you refer a restaurant and then turn up, or your guest turns up to that restaurant and it's crap? What's that actually saying about you and what you know? And business is no different. And some of you, who had a mobile phone when they first come out and they were bigger than that box there? Can we all remember that? Well, I got my first mobile phone, I think it was somewhere around about 1984-ish, which is crikey, that's a while ago. It's a great big thing. It lasted for about 2 minutes. But the guy that I actually got it from, I got my mobile phones from him up till the iPhone came out. And what was that, 3 years ago? So 3 years, so 2009. From that, that's 25 years. Now, it wasn't because that guy was cheap, because he wasn't. He charged me more generally, or a going rate. But the relationship, I'd phone him up and say, Dave, what's the best phone out at the moment? I need a new phone. And I'd get it. It'd be on my doorstep, delivered. Now, that's the relationship. And what people do when they come to networks, generally, they turn up and they meet somebody. And this, if you have a look at this, this is how it works. So I've come along to a network meeting like this today. So everybody, oh yeah, that seems quite good. And they'll arrange a second meeting. So then what would happen, so say for instance, if I'm going to go and see Alistair, I'm going to speak to my language. If you speak my language, you're well ahead, mate. Because it's not English as you know it. We'll go along. And as we're at Alistair's meeting, we'll sit there and he'll tell me how brilliant he is at doing his numbers, as you all had an experience earlier. And so the guy said, I'm sure you all understood that, because it went up in my head. I'm not very good with numbers. But he'd tell me how good he is about everything that he does. And the chances are I'm going to tell him exactly how good I am and what I can do. And at this point, there's a load of ego going on, and all this swaggering and saying how good we are. But what will happen with that, generally, it will go one of 2 ways. It'll come up here, which is what I call neutral corners, which is a point where I'll leave him, go out, his PA will come in and suck him straight back into his business. My business card will then go in his drawer or in his roll of decks, or probably bin, actually, but it'll go somewhere, and I'll do the same. 6 months later, probably go through them as we all do with our business cards, check through, oh yeah, that Alistair, he was a nice guy. I wonder what happened to him. But where it's actually gone, it's gone to a point of no relationship. There's nothing there. It just doesn't happen because we haven't built it. And a good feeling at the time, but it didn't go anywhere. Or it's going to give me a test case. Now, what type of client do you think Alistair is going to give me the first time I go to meet him? Is he going to give me, he's a star client, that spends all his money. What do you reckon? Is that going to happen, Alistair? He wouldn't do it now, he's known me for a year. But he wouldn't do it, and I wouldn't give it to him because he would have some fears around how I was actually going to look after them, because he doesn't know anything about me. Because he's met me at one network meeting, and he's met me that second time. So he's going to test case me with somebody that he wants to get rid of anyway. He doesn't want them, because they're probably both fine. And then what would happen is I'd probably get naffed off with them for the very same reason that he does, and we'd end up in the same place with no relationship. There'd be nothing there, it just didn't work. And then we're all putting down, oh well, yeah, return on my investment, not very good. And this, traditionally, is traditional networking. And the reason it doesn't work is at this point here, right there. Because it's all about me telling you, or Alistair telling me, how good he is. And we all do it in some shape or form. You might say, well, I don't do it, but the reality of it is, you probably do it there. And the reason it goes wrong at this stage is because everybody focuses on benefits. Who's heard of features and benefits selling? Who's heard of that? So we all focus on the features of something and the benefits of it. And I could actually go back and say to my good wife at the back here, I've just bought this Aston Martin at £105,000. What do you reckon would happen to me if I spent some of our savings on an Aston Martin and said, but it's got lovely stitched leather seats and it's got a really good rev counter in it?
You'd be driving it on your own.
And with no macros probably. Because you know they're going to come off. It doesn't matter but it doesn't matter how much I tell her or sell her the benefits of it, if I don't overcome the bit that's most important out of all of this, her fears about how I can spend that much money, if I don't overcome these, it's never going to happen.
Is that what you're working on at the moment?
And that's what I'm working on at the moment. I've actually done it, but I haven't told her. It's in the garage and that's not her domain, so it's... She's asleep.
In shock.
But the point about it is the fears. And at this point here, we should be listening. And listening about the other person. It's not about us, it's about the other person. And that's where people go wrong. They're too busy telling to find out what it is. Now, at this point, there's normally 5 fears that stop people, which we need to overcome, and there's 5 benefits. Now, for the obviously time constraints, I'm not going to go into that. But probably the next meeting here, I'm going to do a 3-hour session on this, if anybody wants to come to it. So it's not going to cost you anything. Come along and learn how to really build those long-term relationships that pay dividends. That people come back and use you time and time and time again. And that's where it is. That's where the real benefit of networking is. It's not about turning up, giving your business card and expecting work. Because it won't happen. And you can see that by the amount of people that we've had. There's over 500 people now on the ABC books. And out of all of that, I think we've got a percentage of those that have been once, and a couple that have been twice, but the vast majority of keeping going through, and we've got a good hardcore base. So, if you want to know more about that, I think I'm going to do the next one. I'll keep it coming out in the emails. It's free of charge, but let us know, because you know, we can set this room up and do it in here. So that's that. So, as far as the ABC are concerned, we've got a